Hi guys, so this video has been so long in the making. I've tried to film it like 3 or 4 times, but it's not worked, it's been too long, it just hasn't happened, and it's been so requested by all of you, and I've been trying to do it, so I thought, right, I will not let this defeat me. I will sit down today and I will film it. So this is going to basically be my kind of hair care and hair styling routine, so basically everything I put on my hair, everything I do to it to make it end up looking like this. To begin with, when I wash my hair, I kind of tend to wash it now 2 or 3 times a week. I don't like to do it too often, just because I don't want to damage my hair by washing it too much. And I find that because I've got quite long hair, it doesn't need to be like washed every day like it would do, I think, if you had slightly shorter hair. You can always get the dry shampoo out, give it a quick spray, ready to go. Yes, so I start off with kind of brushing my hair through, and for that I use the Tangle Teezer. And this is so great. Before I found this, I could not brush my hair. I used to have like matted back. That sounds really bad, but it was just really was like unbrushable. It was so naughty. But yeah, I bought one of these, and literally, although it looks like they're not even that large, the little bristles on it, it just brushes through everything so well. Takes quite a while for me to brush through with this, but it's so gentle, it doesn't like tug or pull or damage anything or rip the hair. Yeah, so recommend getting one of those if you've got knotty hair like I have. I usually put kind of like a pre-shampooing hair mask on after that, and at the moment I'm using the Charles Worthington Salon at Home Moisture Seal one. This is amazing. This is so good. It's a really strange sort of hair mask. It's not one that I've really come across before. It's basically like a thick sort of balm, almost like a cleansing balm, you know how it's quite solid before you put it on your face. So you just grab kind of like a scoop of this. I tend to use sort of the size of like a 50p, not too much, I just put it on the ends, and you kind of melt it in between your hands and just like really work it into the hair and leave it on for about 20 minutes, and it just, I don't know how it does it, but it moisturises so well. It almost feels like you're putting a thick sort of oil on it, so obviously that's really deeply penetrating the hair, and it smells amazing as well. It's so good. Yeah, so I leave that on and then I'll shampoo it out. Don't tend to really stick to one regularly. I kind of buy something new every time I need a new one. At the moment I'm kind of like rotating between 3 different ones. So I've got the Lush Big Sea Salt Shampoo. This is really great if you want real kind of volume and oomph to your hair. It's a really funny sort of consistency. It's almost got like these little beads of salt in them, kind of really chunky big bits of salt mixed in with the shampoo, and you just sort of like massage it into the scalp. It's really nice because it gives your scalp a bit of exfoliation as well, and yeah, it just leaves almost like this sort of residue in your hair, not in a bad way, almost like if you're using a salt spray, which just kind of clings to the hair and gives it a bit more kind of like workability, so it can be more voluminous and doesn't just lay really flat. So I think that's a really great shampoo if you've got quite fine hair. So I use that kind of maybe once a week, and then if my hair needs something really sort of moisturising, if it's quite dry and stripped, I'll use the Stafford Argan Oil shampoo and conditioner. I have used these for quite a while. I've kind of repurchased them a lot because they are just really great shampoos. Actually, I've never felt my hair so soft and so moisturised as when I use this. I've used kind of like the the actual Moroccan Oil ones as well, and I still think these are better. They just leave my hair so light and moisturised and shiny and kind of like weightless. They're just so brilliant if you've got dry and damaged hair. So as you can probably see, I did recently dye the tips of my hair. I sort of ombre'd it with a bit of bleach, which left it so damaged. But to kind of keep that colour in, I use the Stafford Bleach Blonde shampoo and conditioner occasionally. I tend to kind of just use a regular shampoo, like I'll use the Lush one, and then right on the end, after I've washed it out, I will just use this purple shampoo, and it's great for kind of getting rid of like brassy tones and like the yellowness you can get when you bleach your hair. Yeah, so I just use those like every now and then to keep up the colour of my hair. So once I come out of the shower, I just tend to like rough dry my hair with a towel, let it sort of dry on its own for a bit. Sometimes I don't even blow dry it, I just sort of like let it do what it wants to do and dry naturally. But I'll always put a bit of Moroccan Oil through it. So this is just the best. This is like the hair saviour. It's so good. This is like saved my dry ends. So yeah, just put a few pumps of that through the bottoms, maybe a little bit through the middle, depending on how dry it feels, when it's still wet, and then I'll either let it dry naturally or sort of like blow dry, and it really helps to actually kind of dry it quicker, so you're not putting so much heat on your hair for so long. Yeah, so if I am just letting it dry kind of naturally, that's all I put on it. But if I've decided to blow dry it because I want maybe a bit more volume or I want it to be a bit straighter, there's a couple of products that I like to put through it. So I'll either use the Bumble Surf Spray if I want kind of like a messy sort of texture, something with a bit of like little kinks and, you know, nothing like too big. This is quite nice for just giving your hair that real sort of like walked out of the sea, let my hair dry naturally kind of look. Yes, I just spray that all through kind of like the middle bits, a little bit in the roots to give it a bit of volume, and just dry it loosely with the hairdryer. If I want kind of like quite volumised hair, I'll use a mousse. This is the Ojon Volume Advanced Mousse, and I just kind of like just do a pump and massage it through the roots. I don't tend to put it through the rest of my hair because it can get a bit crispy. As you probably know with mousses, they're not the nicest feeling products. But I do find this really helps to give my hair a bit of volume at the roots, just because it's quite long and it kind of gets weighed down really easy because it's quite heavy now. Yeah, so I'll use that quite often. And then if I want sort of like a messy sort of texture, maybe something, if I want to put my hair up the next day and I want it to have a bit of hold and a bit of grit, I'll put the Bumble hair undressing cream through it. And this is quite like, it's quite a sticky sort of texture to it, so you put it through and it feels quite sticky, but once you blow dried it, it kind of just makes the hair feel very thick and very full, so it's a lot easier to work with. Yes, I'll use that every now and then. So on to styling, and I never really seem to stick to the same hairstyle. I just tend to do whatever looks right at the time. But I suppose my main kind of like hairstyle I wear is just like loose, messy sort of waves, kind of brushed out like I have on today. So what I usually do is I take my Rapture Totem Heat Styler. This is a really great curling tool. You can do so many different looks with it. There's kind of like 3 heat settings, and you can make these barrels heat up to different temperatures, which makes the curls look different. I tend to just leave it though on 333, which is I think the coolest setting, or it might be the hottest setting, I can't remember, but it just gives like a real nice loose sort of wave. So I'll pretty much like loosely curl all of my hair. I won't like pin it up in sections or anything. I'll just like grab it, wrap it around and leave it for a few seconds until it's warm, and then release it. Sometimes I'll like get a little pin and just pin it up so that the curl holds a bit better if I want more like defined curls. And then I just sort of like loosely run my fingers through it. Sometimes I'll back comb upwards, so instead of just going for the roots, I'll take the back comb brush and start at the bottom and just sort of back comb the curl out, because I find that kind of holds the curl better, but it still gives it like lots of volume instead of like brushing it out. I also sometimes just leave it straight and back comb the roots out again just to give it more volume. I think my main sort of like go-to hairstyle is literally just back combing. I tend to just back comb it all until it looks good. Yeah, so for that I use this little sort of cheap brush I got this from eBay. It's literally just like a little bristle brush, and it's just the best thing for back combing. Yeah, and then literally I will just spray some hairspray through it. This is the Tresemme Salon Finish Extra Hold number 4. This is like the only hairspray I've bought for the last like 5 years. I must have bought so many cans of this, but it's just the best thing I found for my hair. It really holds it and doesn't make it feel too crispy or too heavy. I also sometimes use the Tresemme Texture Divine Definition Spray just to give it a bit more kind of like texture if I want more of a messy look. This is really cool. It's kind of like a dry hairspray, so it feels a bit like dry shampoo, but it doesn't leave your hair looking grey, and it just kind of like creates a bit more texture between the hair. Yeah, so sometimes I'll spray that in and just sort of like scrunch it around. So that is everything that I use, guys. I hope that was informative for you. I've had so many questions about my hair. I hope that kind of answered them all well. If not, just leave me a question below and I'll be sure to answer it for you. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will speak to you soon.